Hello, welcome back to Leicester Fan TV. This is the Fox's Focus Show. We'll talk about all things Leicester. I've got Simon with me tonight. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening to you, Jono. How are you this week?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. Don't worry about Simon. He's a little bit blurry, but he's away somewhere for personal reasons, so he hasn't got the best connection in the world. So just bear with us tonight. He sounds good though. That's the main reason.
Which makes a change, Jono. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm the good-looking one tonight, not him.
I think that counts us both out, Jono. Let's just finish it now.
Good evening from Scott. Don't forget to leave your comments throughout the show. We'll try to get through as many as we can. Don't forget to like the video and don't forget to follow us on all our socials down below. So we've got a few things to talk about tonight. The first thing we need to talk about is the Middlesbrough game that happened on Tuesday night away at Middlesbrough. So what do you think about the game, Simon? What do you think it's a point gained or 3 points lost?
Thanks for letting me go first. I'm going to say it's a point gained. I thought with the limited amount of time that Gary Rowett's had with the team, which must, with the 2 games coming in quick succession, can't equate to any more than a couple of training sessions. I think he's starting to show some incremental improvements in our performances. It wasn't the greatest performance. You're not going to sit there after that thinking, wow, I've really been entertained or it was incredible. And there are some mistakes in it, let's be honest. I mean, the Akoli thing, you just stick your foot through that and put it in the stand or kick it towards Daka or do something. Passing it straight back to him was just a nonsense. So let's be honest, that's a complete loss of concentration on his part, albeit obviously he scored the goal. So I guess there's a balance there to a degree. Daka should have scored early second half. You know, You're looking at that, you're thinking, striker in that position, keeper in the position he is, you should just put that away. But you take those little niggles out of it, and for me, the overall performance is getting better game by game. And I like the fact that Rowett is not expecting Ricardo at his age and his level of kind of stage of his career to play an inverted role and do 2 positions in one. There's an acceptance that he's going to play at fullback. I think that's helping us. I thought Luke Thomas had an honest game, and whilst he consistently comes in for a lot of criticism from a lot of the fan base, he gives 100% every week, and he does a job. And while sometimes he'll make rickets of mistakes, which frustrates everybody, I thought he was an honest player. I thought Nielsen had a good game. The defence for me is starting to get some kind of grasp on sanity, which it hasn't had all season. Let's be honest. It's just been leaking goals like a sieve. So I like the fact, and I also like the fact that the team is now willing to put its body on the line, willing to get stuck in. When adversity comes, it doesn't capitulate, which has happened more times than we care to remember this season. Actually, that little bit of adversity is being met with some positivity back the other way. So yeah, I get it's not the finished article. It's not perfect. Is it what we're absolutely desperate to watch for the rest of our footballing supporting lives? No, but it's a darn sight better than it was for me. And given a bit more time this week to get some more training with the players under his belt, I think we'll go into the weekend with a reasonable expectation of getting 3 points.
Well, Scott says the mentality is improving, more passion from the players, more importantly, a manager that seems to be getting his message across the pitch throughout the game. I mean, I watched the game. My opinion is I'm leaving that game frustrated. If we were mid-table, I'm thinking, right, you got a team fighting for promotion, Middlesbrough, great. But I'm just thinking, if Akoli didn't make that silly mistake, we would have won that game and got a clean sheet, because that's the only goal that we did concede, and that wasn't from them playing great. That's from us making a silly mistake. And this is a time and place where we haven't got time for silly mistakes, and we haven't got time for misjudgment. This is where we need to get results. We need to grind out results. You look at the Premier League. You see Arsenal. They don't care about how they play. As long as they win, they don't care. We need to be the same. We need to. I don't care how we play. We need to get results. Yes, a draw against Middlesbrough is really good. We ground out a result. When moments in the game where we played really well, our goal was taken really well. But I just think at the moment that's not good enough. I just think we need to get a win. We haven't got a win in 7. I think it's now 7 games without a win, or 8. I can't remember which one it was, but I just feel that we need to get a win because I think if we get a win, that'll bring the confidence back. Yes, I do agree. The passion and the discipline is much better under Gary because I don't think he's a no BS manager. But when it is this time, we've said when he was appointed, we've got 14 cup matches. We played 2 of them and a lot of them dropped 4 points. The title video suggests, is this a must win? It is definitely, in my opinion, a must win because West Brom were very fortunate that West Brom dropped points. They're winning at one point, then ended up drawing. And Oxford, who also played, Portsmouth also lost. So we're in a similar position as we were before game week. We are now. So we're very fortunate. West Brom and Portsmouth didn't pick up points. I'm concerned if we don't win against Norwich, that won't be the case.
Yeah, I think a line has to be drawn at some point, John. I don't know, in terms of we've had 2 away games since the new manager came in against what isn't the easiest of opposition. It's not like we've been playing Charlton or Oxford or Sheffield Wednesday or something. We've been playing teams that are fighting at the other end of the table to us. So they've not been easy games. Eddie came in a month ago and he'd had Oxford and Charlton at home. It's a different. We'd have been sat here after 2 draws being disappointed. But having got 2 draws and the manner of the performances, in terms of you're starting to see, as you just said, that dedication and that application, like in the cause for Leicester now that we haven't seen in a while. For me, it's got a lot of more positives than negatives, and ultimately, I think we all understood that when we made this change of manager, that was it. Once this manager came in, the die was cast for the rest of the season, and good, bad, or indifferent, we were stuck with it. So it looks good to me. It's not perfect, but if we can keep on this improvement curve, and I agree with you, this weekend, there comes a point where a line has to be drawn and you go, okay, 2 half-decent draws away, some respectable performances. Now we need 3 points. And I think that juncture is this Saturday. Norwich are not a million miles above us. They're opposition that you would be turning up under normal circumstances expecting to get 3 points at home against. And for me now, that's got to happen this Saturday. And as a few people alluding to in the comments there, with some of the comments about Ayew and what have you.
Yeah, I was just about to bring the comment up. Ayew killed the game. When he come, we had nothing. I mean, we all moan about Daka not being. He's not been a good striker for us. Let's not beat around the bush. He's not been good at all. But what he does do is put in a shift. He puts in a shift. He presses hard, and Ayew, at least he puts in an effort, and at least he puts pressure on the goalkeeper and defenders. But Ayew doesn't. Ayew's very good. I think he's very good at holding the ball up. But that's what we need right now. We need someone with a bit of passion, a bit of energy, just to bring the ball up the field. We don't need someone to hold the ball and allow the defenders to come back. That's what we don't need, and that's what I feel cost us in the Middlesbrough game when we didn't have that killer instinct in the final part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, when Ayew comes on for Daka in the week, you kind of know you're losing any sort of real pace, any threat, any challenge. And as you just alluded to, what he is going to do is he's going to fall over a few times and win you a few free kicks. He'll hold the ball up, win the ball, and then take it out towards one of the corner flicks in the opposition half and burn a few seconds of time. You're not thinking when he comes on, well, here comes another opportunity to get a goal. And it does, for me, start to beg the question, why did we sign this Richards lad on loan if he's never going to get used? Because if he's not a viable option to give 15, 20 minutes at the end of games instead of Ayew, why are we paying any sort of fee or wages for him to have him on loan? That doesn't stack up for me. I find that frustrating, and it almost feels like a kind of negative substitution when it happens. Albeit, I accept that Xhaka is, let's be honest, is the best of what is a bad bunch.
Well, Nick put, Jordan, are you going to have a go? But I think, look, if you look at the signings we made over the summer, we made, was it 3 or 4? I think it was over the January window. Was it 3? 3.
Lascelles,
Makusa.
Makusa.
I think he's been exceptional. I think he's been. The thing is when does Jordan James back? Is he back in the Norwich game?
There's 4 because you're missing a Rumo out from Southampton, aren't you? So there's 4.
Yes.
That came on loan in January.
If we have Jordan James and Maksaka in the team, that'd be a phenomenal team. Wouldn't you agree? Because I think
how do you fit them in, Jono? That's the question. I mean, you look at that midfield right now, mate, and you've got Winks and Skip in the middle, haven't you? Now, for me, I thought they were both exceptional in the week for different reasons. I thought Skip's defensive abilities were on display. He got us out of trouble in their own box more than once. And conversely, Winks's ability to spot a pass and play it and split a defence and all of that stuff was on display as well. So this is something I wanted to bring up with you tonight. How do you, if Jordan James is declared fit, right, how do you get him back into that team? Which one are you dropping?
Can I put in the wing? I think we play. How do you say it? Maksaka. Mikasa.
Yeah.
Can he play in the wing? Could he play his right wing?
I think he can, but he's playing 10. So are we talking about playing Jordan James 10 again?
You got to have Jordan James as a 10 because Skip and Wink. Skip has been our most consistent player throughout the whole season. Winks has come back and he's proven he's a workhorse and he stabilizes the midfield. I think Bobby shouldn't play ever as a starting lineup ever again. He's only a sub. I'll play Jordan James as a 10 and the guy as a winger. That's what I would do, because I can't have Jordan James and him out of the team. I can't have them both out of unless Mavididi drops. He wasn't great against Middlesbrough. He wasn't. He didn't. It was quite lazy. I feel if he could attract backs better. So maybe have Fataro on the right, Jordan James in the middle, Mikasa on the left. If that's possible, I don't know if that's possible.
It's absolutely possible. It's a dilemma, isn't it, when you start thinking about it, because you've actually got now a group of players in midfield that are starting to perform, and I think we all accept that if it weren't for Jordan James, we'd be in a lot worse state in terms of points on the board than we are now. He's come up with goals and all sorts of stuff this season, which has kept us, away from a much worse situation than maybe we would be in. So, of course, you need to bring him back in if he's fit, but it's who makes way and how you make that midfield work. My opinion, playing Jordan James in the 10, it was tried 3 or 4 times early in the season. It didn't work. He belongs in the middle of the park next to either Winks or Skier. And in my opinion, Winks makes way. And Winks makes way because of the history. Let's leave it at
that. In my opinion, I know this isn't deserved, but would you have Winks and Jordan James in midfield? I know Skip has been really, really good, but I think Winks' experience with Jordan James next to him, and then have Mikasa as a 10, would that be better? Would that be a perfect midfield? And then for Toro and Mavididi on the wing.
And something's just dropped to me, Ed. Play Skip in defence.
Was a centre half?
Full back, centre half. Take your pick.
A Coley out, Winks there, and have Nelson next to him. Because Winks can play out the back, couldn't he?
He did play that one game at centre half because he was forced to, Skip, wasn't he? And he did a decent job. I'm not saying we do it. I'm just saying it's an idea. It's not like our defence has been covered in glory all season. But these are the things that Rowett's got to get his head around, because these are the dilemmas coming. He's spent most of the post-match interviews explaining that we're putting sticking plasters over getting a team out there because the amount of players who got injured. He is going to start coming into a phase over these next couple of weeks where he's going to get someone in back, and he's got to manage that and manage who's going onto the pitch, and manage us getting 3 points as a result of that.
There's a few comments coming in saying skip for a Curly, skip for Thomas, skip left back, sooner see him than Thomas. So would you put Skip in the defensive role? Would you put him as a centre half or a left winger?
I think it's a shout. I think that's a shout, and then leave Winks in the middle of the park with James. I mean, we haven't really seen Winks and James, have we? We've seen lots of Winks and Skip or James and Skip or whatever, but we're not seeing much of Winks and James. That'd be interesting to see, I think.
The most annoying, most frustrating thing in my mind is that we've got a massive conundrum in the centre of the park. Why didn't we have this conundrum at the front? That's what's frustrating, because we have such a really, in terms of the Championship, I do truly feel we've got one of the best midfields in the Championship, which is ludicrous to say because where we are in the league. But in terms of ability, we've got one of the best midfielders in the league. But why can we have that conundrum up front? Because like up front we've got a dead part in the middle of the field. We've got good wingers, we've got a good base in the midfield, but it's kind of lost in the striker position. That's what's frustrating to me.
Someone asked me the other day, why is it that all football teams now seemingly don't play two strikers up front? Why has that become a unfashionable thing to do in football over the last 3 or 4 years? It's clear that we haven't. I mean, let's on paper we've got strikers. In reality, we haven't. Let's be honest. Paxton Daka, Jordan Ayew. I mean, this Richards lad, who I know in the end apparently it turned out that he's more of a wide player than a striker, but he plays up front for the Jamaican national team. You know what? It's a little bit like the other chap we sent out on loan to Northampton in January. The players that we have at our disposal that are supposed to be the senior players aren't producing the right result. So why on earth not give some of these other people a chance? What is there to lose? You're getting nothing from the people you're playing anyway.
I do agree. Like, I remember when we played Daka and Vardy up front, and there's a time where I think that was when we were in Europe. I might be wrong.
The Pearson season, we got promoted to the Premier League. We played Nugent and Vardy up front for virtually the whole of that season. We played a standard 4-4-2. Worked like a dream. Where did that football go? Why did that football become unfashionable? And the point I'm making here is that we've spent 3/4 of a season doing something that hasn't worked. Why doesn't someone think to change it? That's the point I'm making.
Well, do we have to? Sorry, disconnected there for a quick second.
Yeah, I wonder if it was you or me, mate. But it was you, so. But yeah, sigh of relief for me. I thought the old Travelodge Wi-Fi had given out there for a minute.
No, right. I'm here. What I was talking about.
We were talking about playing two up front, Jono, and why we haven't tried that, and why clubs in general don't try it anymore.
What options do you have up front? Are you in Daka? The chicken leading the headless chicken? What would you do? What two strikers do we have up front?
Do you think it's possible they could both be on the floor rolling around at the same time if we played them both up front?
They could both fall on the floor. They could both be laying eggs. They could both.
For me, we got this kid from Chelsea on loan. Give him a go. Stick Decker up front, playing with him. Change the system a little bit. Switch it up.
Look at Mikasa. Is 18, 19.
Yep.
He's hit the ball running. He's hit the ground running. He's playing phenomenal football. He's got an assist and a goal every game he's played for us so far since he's been playing. Why why can't other people his age be given that chance to prove their point? Why
I
can't
mean,
we play him up front?
You think back across some of the loans you've had over the last couple of 3 seasons, and you think of players like Buonanotte and all of the others, that lad from Chelsea, the Italian lad, and all the rest of them that we've had over this last period of time. He's in terms of a kind of young, promising loan signing, he's the best, I think, of the lot of them. He looks an elite player in the making. You know, if he don't play for Man City, he's going to play for one of the top half Premier League sides within the next 3 or 4 years. You think
he looks?
He's the real deal.
He looks elite, doesn't he?
He does. He looks the real deal. You know, and we're fortunate that we've got that for the rest of the season to give us this little bit of impetus, because I think without that little bit of magic, you know, you think that through. You get Jordan James behind him. You got him playing in the 10. You start getting Fatawi firing down the right hand side. We're really starting to look quite potent. You know, we're really starting to look like we're going to cause teams trouble. You know, so it's got the shoots or something here to really start picking up some points.
If we do get relegated, it'd be the most. I would be frustrated rather than angry, because I'm like, this group of players should never be relegated to League One, because we've got future stars, we've got experienced Premier League players in our team, and that will be what will be frustrating. We could talk about the team forever, but going into the game against Norwich on Saturday, one of the massive talking points is what Michael alludes to here: King, power out, top out. There's a few protests going on before the game. I would say this: if you are going to do a protest, regardless of what side you're on, King, power out, what change you want at the club, please do it respectfully. Don't be the idiot who causes the fight, vandalizes, racially abuses, or aggressive. Don't be that idiot. Just do it legally and civilly, and get your message across peacefully. Don't be an idiot, because if Top sees us being idiots, he's not going to trust. You know, that's a group of hooligans just pissing around. If you're going to get a message across, do it sensibly. But there are two major processes going on: King, power and top out, which is what I'm leaning towards, and other ones which is support the team. So, do you think they will have an effect on the game, Simon?
I kind of wish it wasn't this game, Jono, if I'm honest. It's Gary Rowett's first game at home. The team seems to be building some sort of momentum and belief in itself for the first time in a long, long time. And in the middle of all of that, outside the ground, for now at least, and I hope it stays outside the ground, we're heading for what are many different things. You know, if you look around, you've got to spend 20 minutes, half an hour on social media to find you've got the Unite for Change thing, which is anti-ownership. Then you've got the Back to Family thing, which is, I think, planned for the same time of day as the Unite for Change thing. And they're both suggesting they're going to be hanging around the same part of the ground, somewhere around the fan store stroke Vichai statue. It's got the ingredients for blue and blue minimum verbals. You know, and my question would be and whilst I know there are some fans that say actually the best thing that could happen is we get relegated. It forces the owner to relinquish the club, because he'll be in a financial mess that will leave him no choice. But in my opinion, if you do start saying that, you're rolling the dice of the existence of the football club that we all support. So I'm not one of these that wants to see us get relegated.
No, I'm not. I want us to survive more than anything, because I've seen the financial experts. I've seen, obviously, I'm not that's not my realm, but I trust the financial experts in their opinion, and they're all saying if we do go down, we are in serious trouble of losing our football club. So I am not in that boat of let's get relegated to make change. I'm in let's survive, then make change.
Yeah, I think survival for me right now is the key here. You know, any ownership change, you can scream and shout for regime change, but Number one, that could be going on in the background and you wouldn't even know. And I'm not saying it is, but it could be.
No.
Number two, if it was going on in the background, it's not going to come to fruition and become a reality for a long time. It's not something that's just going to magic itself up and up. It's not like going out and buying yourself a new second-hand car at the weekend where you signed the V5 document. It belongs to you. It's months and months of financial and legal administration that will go into that. We have got, and I'm not necessarily taking sides here, Jono, to be clear, but it is becoming apparent that there is some good, bright young football management in terms of directors coming in. This guy coming in from the Man City setup looks like exactly the sort of bloke we need around our club right now.
He's coming in now or the summer?
My understanding is if the rumours are right, he's working his notice down and he could be in the building as soon as next month.
Right.
So, there's the shoots of something there for me that, and it has taken some disgust is probably the right word, if I'm being honest, from the fans maybe to kind of poke and prod top out of whatever malaise that he's been sat there in doing very little. And you can see some action now being started to be taken. So for me, my personal opinion, now's not the time right now. What we need to do is collectively get round that team, get the King Power Stadium into a full and firing, because the atmosphere in there's been pretty flat.
Simon, it's been dire for years. It's not been dire for this season. It's been dire for years.
But it's getting worse.
The last time I've seen that stadium an ounce full and passionate is when Vardy scored that last goal against Ipswich. That's the last time I've seen that stadium full and united. And before then, it was years before that as well.
I don't disagree. There is a mixture of apathy and anger and displeasure and all the rest of it around a lot of our fan base right now. But we've got to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, do we want this club to fall into a position where it could end up not existing? And in my opinion, the answer is no. So for me right now, whatever we do outside the ground needs to be respectful to each other because, I know where you sit with this, Jono, and I respect that. I'm not quite as far down the road as you are with that. And I hope you respect that as well. And other people who are supportive of the family 100%, whilst you and I might not completely agree with that, you've got to respect it, haven't you? You can't get angry and start fighting amongst each other.
If I see in the street and I go, oh, let's have a fight because we disagree, we both care about one thing, and that's what it's all of us, is the survival of our football club. And it's not like, survival. It is survival because if we do go down, it is literally we could lose our football club. We could get bankrupt and go down to league and go down to the 8th tier of the football pyramid. That is on the line this season. That is what we're fighting for.
I mean, I've seen chatter amongst fans about forming a new football club just in case, and all sorts of stuff. So let's just get ourselves through this next few months and make sure we're in the Championship. There's a fair amount of players out of contract that will move on. We can make a decision about Rowett, and as a fan base, we can then see whether Top really means what he says, and he is actually going to put the building blocks in place to start turning this club around from the slide downhill that it's been on for the last few years, which if it doesn't stop and change direction fairly soon, will run the club completely out of existence.
I mean, the only reason why I'm King Power out is because I've not seen any sign. I've not seen I'm an evidence person. I'm not about the personality. I'm the evidence person. Top has not proved to me that he is the person who can make business decisions, executive decisions, and not just overall, but quickly to prove that he can turn the ship around. However, that doesn't mean it can't be proved wrong. He could. Well, the team could turn this around. They could survive even by goal difference this season. Then Top goes, right, let's reset. Let's get all these shit players, all on high wages out the club, like Ayew, Bobby Reed, all these crap players. Winks, he's not crap, but he's on 90k a week. We don't need him out of the club. Let's bring in the youth in. Let's stabilize the club for 2-3 seasons, then push on. If he does that, I'll be like, fair enough. You prove yourself your worth. But I can't see that being. I can't see that happening.
I think we both are on the same page in terms of the club's being mismanaged by both the owner, the director of football. I'm not sure if you could bring Susan Whelan into that or not. I wouldn't be.
I would, because in that video I watched, she was happy with the fact that the club was paying 10% over 100% in terms of wages over income. She was happy with the fact the club was paying more wages than the club was actually earning per annum. So okay. I would put her in there.
So ultimately we can then say, based on that, that the senior football management of the club has been incompetent for quite some time, has been making bad decisions, misspending the money. From what I read in that hearing report after we got the 6-point deduction, was being warned by its financial advisor repetitively that you need to do something about this or else you're going to get in trouble, and they ignored it. So that there's all sorts of incompetence and mismanagement in there. I think we can all agree with that. But for me, the nuclear option, which is new owners, and the assumption of the whole. I mean, maybe I'm getting this round the wrong way, and correct me if I'm losing the plot here. But the assumption with the whole top out thing is that the new owner will be any better. We don't even know who the new owner will be. It could be some charlatan that's not got a penny. And this is the point, isn't it? It's like yes, he's made mistakes. Do we all think that his heart's in the right place? I think we probably do. I just think he's taken his afterball and allowed a lot of stuff to happen.
Look at Sheffield Wednesday. That was a guy who purposely tried to get Sheffield Wednesday most down club in the English football pyramid. That was his goal. His goal was to suffocate Sheffield Wednesday, and he did that. Top isn't that person. Top is a nice person. I think he's a down-to-earth guy. I think he's had a horrific 10 years, well, 5 years, because his father passed away, which he did not plan for, his father didn't plan for, and he was put in a situation which he didn't plan for. And it's not his fault he's not good at business. It's not his fault that he didn't surround himself with the people that could say to him, that's a bad decision to make. That's not his fault. That was just him being put in a situation where he didn't want to be in. However, what I will say is that if you're seeing your team getting relegated and saying, I don't know why we got relegated, that is alarm bells for me. So I'll give him the benefit of doubt that he was put in a situation not where he planned for. However, he needs to now, in this situation now, prove that he's a good owner.
I'll tell you what absolutely is his fault, is that what he should do, or should be able to do, because he's a man of a certain level of education and intelligence, he should be able to see that he has limitations in his own capabilities, and have the good common sense to bring people in around him to fill that breach, and that's not been done. And this is my personal opinion. I'm not suggesting this is right or wrong, but I feel like his loyalty to John Rudkin is more personal than professional.
He has to piss off. Rudkin. Do you know what I think? What's happened? Top has lost his father. Rudkin has gone. Right, he's vulnerable now. That's my club. I'm thinking. This is my own opinion. This isn't Simon. This is my own. He's taken advantage of the Top's generosity. I think he's muscled his way in and made more decisions about the club than what Top has.
For me, that's where the problem lies. I think, and I also believe, and I might be wrong, so apologies to everyone watching if I'm completely barking up the wrong tree, but I think if Top removed Rudkin, a lot of this noise around ownership change would go away.
I agree. And Reedy said when we did our debate last week that no change would happen if Rudkin would be removed. I disagree. I think the fan base would be more united because that Top would show the fans that he's willing to make change, and shows that his Top isn't happy with how things are being ran on the football side of things, and it's prove to us it will make change. I think that would make a massive difference if he sacked Rookin.
I think it would buy some time, but if he is going to do it, then he needs to make sure that whatever he brings in is better and more better equipped. Because, you know, as Top alluded to in that interview on Sky Sports and with Owen Palmer-Adkin, we need to find the identity and character of our club again. You know, all of that good stuff that we all bought into and felt unified as a fan base with the players and the ownership all together. We need to find that our mojo again with that, because this is as broken down and as fragmented as it's ever been.
Well, this guy said, how did Rookie even get the job? Well, this is the problem. He was in the job before King Power, before we won the Premier League, and Top's relationship with Rookin was Rookin helped us win the Premier League, and that is why he's unsackable, because of that relationship he has with the family, because he helped us win the Premier League. That's fortunately where it happened. Day Deleuze said, Kuntop is not a child. We are treating him like one. Rookin was previously handed his resignation, but Kuntop refused it.
How do we know that?
I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, Daedalus, explain to us how you know that factually. Do you work for the club? Is this another forum stroke social media rumor? I mean, because I don't see how anyone could know that factually.
Omja Jockey said, best thing Top could do is retire Rookin. That could be nice, saying he left on mutual consent rather than being sacked. Michael said Andrew Neville gave Rookin the job. Jordan says, when he gave Daka 75k a week, we should have been. Yeah, I mean,
it's not just Daka, is it? You know, Samara was on the same. I mean, he's given Andrew Chowdhury 50 grand a week, and you know, given Luke Thomas a 4-year deal. You know, and you could go on and on. You know, we're picking on certain players, but you could go on and on and on. The signing of players like Wout Faz that just, you know,
they make no sense.
Expensive wages, 55, 60 grand a week, just makes mistakes. You know, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's enough. You know, if we in the jobs that you and I do for a living, if we were making them sorts of like fundamental mistakes that were causing the businesses we work for thousands of pounds, we would lose our job. You know, that's the bottom line. So this can't be professional. This has to be a personal relationship between the owner and Rugby. It has to go beyond just a professional relationship.
In Thailand, King Power is the dominant duty-free enterprise in Thailand, which is why, you know, they managed to buy the club. But the government body in Thailand kind of nudged Top aside because they were concerned that the King Power was going to collapse and cause a massive uproar in duty-free in the airport business. So the fact that the government body in Thailand made an executive decision to remove Top is what we need in Leicester City. Top needs to identify that Rookin is the problem, remove him, and then in 4 years' time we will see some changes in the club financially.
Yeah, I think it's the obvious thing for the owner. If the owner was in tune with the fan base and the people that turn up, buy tickets, buy shirts, all the rest of it, he would know already by now that the vast majority of the fan base, and it's nothing personal against John Rudkin. It's not personal. It's professional. The professional mistakes that have been made that have managed our club into this position leave him in an untenable position. Now, Rudkin might, if he could get him on a show like this, might come on and say, well, actually, every time I made one of them decisions, I rang the owner and he rubber stamped it. No, you don't know, do you? You don't know the truth of that.
You hear other journalists, and it's like literally all you hear is them saying, "Oh, Top's been told this. Oh, it's fine. We'll be." You've heard it in the in his conference. Oh, I don't know why I got relegated. It's because he got told by his staff, everything's fine. We won't get relegated. Oh, don't worry about this. We'll be fine. We won't get relegated.
That ridiculous season we got relegated under Brendan Rodgers mostly, and then Dean Smith in the Premier League. You know, he admitted that Brendan Rodgers was telling him, "Don't worry, it'll be fine. You know, nothing to worry about. We're having a bit of a blip. It'll be fine." It weren't fine. We were capitulating, and there was a whole nucleus of players there that knew they wouldn't be there next season, and were just being told by their agent not to get injured and keep the nose clean. So that whole scenario was rotten, and this is absolutely true. I completely agree with you that that happened under the owner's nose, and because he wasn't paying enough attention and he was just taking phone calls, just ringing them up from Thailand saying, "How's it going?" And they're, "Oh, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry, everything will be fine." He just took that at face value, and that is naive and beyond any. I'm not arguing with you. There's a lot of problems in here, a lot of faults, a lot.
This isn't against Top. I think he's a wet lettuce. I think he's easily manipulated by the people below him against what his initial judgment might be. I think he's maybe alluded to the fact he might be thinking, "Oh, maybe not could be going bad," but the people below might think, "Oh well, if we tell him it's going well, he'll believe it."
I think he's
anyway.
I think for reasons that aren't his fault, he's had a lot of things to try and cope with. I'm making excuses here, but his business has had challenging times. The football club's had challenging times at the same time. There's a lot to do, but the other side of that is get some help. If you can't pull that off on your own, get some people in that can do it for you. That's the bottom line.
Well, before we go, because we've gone past about 15
as
minutes.
Usual.
As usual.
As usual.
We're going to score predictions against Norwich. I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. Not a clean sheet, but I think with the changes we've made, and I think the crowd will be behind the team, I think we'll go 2-1.
I suppose the big question for me this week is, are we going full fat clean sheet for the first time in 28 games? That's the question for me, because I think that's almost as if not more significant than if we put 4 in at the other end. Stopping that constant leak at the back right now is absolutely intrinsic to our survival in this league this season. So I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to say we're going to win 2-0, and I'm going to say that this will be the first time that we don't make a stupid individual error in defence in a long time.
I hope you're right, Simon. We're both going for a 2-something victory. Well, Glenn says 2-0. Luke says 3-1 Leicester. Armchair Jockey says 3-0 Norwich. Michael says 1-1 draw.
Wow.
John says 2-1 Leicester. Cool Boy says 2-1 Leicester. Well, I hope you join the show, everyone. Don't forget to join us on Sunday for the famous Aftermath show with Jamie, and for Phil's show on Monday. Cheers so much for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Nice to see you, mate.
Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials, like the video, and we should see you all next time.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow us on all socials.